Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me. I grew up in India, all over India, but very formative influence in my hometown of Ahmedabad, which is the home of the main Gandhi ashram. And when I was growing up, I was very influenced by the Gandhian philosophy of respecting the dignity of every human being, as well as sustainable self reliance and the spirit, Gandhian spirit, that we think of nature not as a resource for us to leverage, but our role as a custodian of nature. That has influenced everything I do today. I was also raised by a scientist father who worked for the United Nations and the Indian government and had a very early love for technology. That brought me to Stanford to study computer science. And then I worked in the tech world of Silicon Valley for a long time. And now I would say I'm a community builder still in the world of tech, a tech impact investor. And at Stanford Angels and Entrepreneurs, which is about 2,000 members of the Stanford community here in the business tech entrepreneurial world, we are looking to bring the power of technology, innovation, entrepreneurship to help advance these fields. And also, how can we help society? And that, to me, that is what I'm passionate about right now. The technology is the liver right now. As our professor at Stanford would say, Andrew Ng, it is the new electricity of our times. It is an unprecedented powerful tool. And I am right now in the heart of how can we bring my world of Silicon Valley tech to become champions of technology to help society, but also how do we prevent the harm? And in that spirit, I am a champion and kind of self appointed evangelist of the sustainable development goals in my world of Silicon Valley. The reason I love the goals, the UN goals, is they give us a global normative framework for working together, collaborating on social change. And but above all, recognizing that if we do not tackle inequality and climate change in this moment in a non-incremental manner, nothing else will matter. And we can only do this collectively. And I myself am very involved in what could be the role of technology in doing that. And to me, it is very exciting that Mahatma Gandhi's vision, he's my hero, that's my religion, my philosophy, what he believed. That spirit is so much enshrined in the Sustainable Development Goals, whose spirit is to leave no one behind. How can we level the playing field for all so that the power of every human being can be brought to the table to tackle these great challenges?
How you see India from America? How you see Asia from America? What do you see as major challenge now in Asia? And how you see now from America, your own country, India?
Yeah, I see Asia and particularly India in this moment as at a very key inflection point. I mean, I am bicultural. I spent my childhood in India, so of course I have deep ties and the cultural roots. I see it as at a point where it could really, the largest democracy in the world, a functioning largest democracy in the world, is at a key moment. It has a lot of assets, very young country with challenges. Sometimes people bring up that why is the growth not been so fast, but it is recovering. I'm very direct from 2 centuries of exploitation, colonial exploitation, socioeconomic. So that is a challenge the country is facing. And but on the other hand, the huge asset the country has had is the founding fathers were very forward thinking. The spirit of including everyone. It was founded as a secular country where the rights of every woman and every minority were enshrined in the constitution. Laws are very progressive. And yet, as with, and then there is technology. India is poised amazingly on tech growth. There is the other Silicon Valley in Bangalore. I got my tech education in India undergrad for free because I was a woman, and I think that is a good policy. There is English speaking global kind of workforce, so much happening. And yet, there is a big digital divide between and a socioeconomic divide is huge. If India doesn't tackle that, it is going to a major challenges like many other countries in the world. India has produced some of the most brilliant tech minds of the world. In my own world of Silicon Valley tech, Indians here, we are a tiny percent of the Indian population, and yet we are very successful in the world of tech. In fact, the CEOs of two of the leading tech companies, Google and Microsoft, global names, are both Indians. And so there is something very good happening. And yet, I would say in this moment, as in many parts of the world, if India does not keep up and kind of really foster the spirit of the founding fathers of being inclusive of everyone, empowering women, including minorities, leveling the playing field, could also be in a very dangerous position. And if it kind of continues that spirit, I think the future is very bright. And this is a problem everywhere in the world. Xenophobia is on the rise in different forms and shapes. In my own country, America, here, we have so much police brutality towards African Americans. We are dealing with it. Luckily, our new president is amazing. He's bringing major change also to tackle poverty. The American Rescue Package that just has been announced is going to make leaps forward in leveling the playing field. I do think India is doing work on that front, but needs a lot more as well. Not just the poverty and the economic divides, but the social and cultural norms that often create biases in our minds towards others. Breaking them and living the spirit of the founding fathers is going to be essential. And it's also a moment where we need to build bridges across countries. I actually think if India and China build stronger bridges, be an unstoppable force together. So that's my thought.
Much, Radhika. So it is important to say also that there are a lot of Indian experts in California, and even the head of Microsoft now is an Indian person.
Yeah.
And so perhaps can you say one or two words how you live yourself as an Indian person in California? Did you find California open to you? Do you have a lot of American friends? How you live this kind of big culture being in California?
Yeah, I must say I love my world of California, not just because we have good weather and Silicon Valley and Hollywood. I love it because California, I think, has a spirit, truly embodies what we need now of a global community. In my world, there is not just white Americans, an equal proportion. There is Indians, there is Chinese, there is African Americans, there's Africans. It is a melting pot of the world right now. And we have people from everywhere. And that microculture has created something magical where we don't look at people as, are you Indian ethnically, are you African? We look at you are a human being and we see beauty in the diversity of us all as Mahatma Gandhi saw. And I never experienced that there's anything different. That said, I am very involved in the study of bias at Stanford and in some research. And we all have biases. And I would say the bias against Indians in the world of Silicon Valley tech is a bias. It's a bias that you're technically very sharp. And I don't know that's good or bad, but we have biases in our minds. But I think that said, there is another kind of bias that I have at times faced that is all over the world. The biggest challenge is half the world's population deals with bias. I'm a woman. And as a woman, not as an Indian, as a woman, I have faced at times bias. It's much less, in my opinion, what I grew up in my childhood in India. Being a woman I felt much stronger biases. They were explicit. Here, there are more implicit in the tech world, but they're there. But we have to solve these challenges. I'm part of a group that at Stanford, a research center, I'm an advisor that's working on tackling these biases. But I would say that the tech community here, Indian tech community, is played a huge role in the innovation entrepreneurship, not just executives of big companies, but starting a lot of startups. The entrepreneurial spirit is very strong here. But not just Indians. I am truly, at some level, I'm a global citizen, but particularly people from Asia broadly are very hardworking, very entrepreneurial, and they've been a key kind of catalyst in the Silicon Valley innovation ecosystem.
It is important also to say that we are going together to try to organize, as soon COVID permit it, to a kind of a summit about culture and peace in the world at Stanford. So thank you, Radhika. We share a lot of subjects together. We are working together about data sharing, and it is fascinating. We participate to the building of a new civilization, a peace civilization for the planet. Thank you very much. And we stay with us because we are going to receive Bill ZHAO. Bill ZHAO, you are here. I see you. Thank you, Bill, to be with us. And you are also somebody very interesting for us because you born in China, you moved to Europe, and then you moved to America. So you already make part of our journey. You have been experiencing the fact to live in China, then move to Europe, and then move to America. So can you speak a little about your own experience?
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much for the invitation. And by the way, I was very nervous from the beginning because I saw I'm the only Chinese, but most people speak French. I was a little bit nervous, but later I felt more comfortable because I suddenly recalled my European friends called me is just a European guy with a Chinese face and born in China. Geographically, actually, my the growth track in China, I moved to different cities as well, major cities, and it looks like I was a European guy born in Denmark, but got my education in Ireland, and then started my career in England, then did business, started my business in Italy, then further developed in France. Later, I moved to USA, based in Silicon Valley. That's kind of my journey. So I'm quite diversified. It's some interesting journey. And my educational background mainly include Chinese system and also the European system, because I got my degree from China Europe International Business School. And I also had my education from Nijrode Business University in Holland. So diversified background, but later I realized Silicon Valley is the right place for me. And here it is actually, we have the joke, it's not America, it is Silicon Valley. And it is located in California, but it belongs to the world. And I am a global citizen, global and local citizen. Yeah. Thank you. This is my brief introduction. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your own story. So can you tell us a little what you are doing now in your company? And
Okay.
also question will about your vision of China from America. But
okay. Thank you very much for your question. And I am an educator. I have a strong passion in education. In the past, before my immigration to USA, I was the president of an international business school called NIMI, Nordic International Management Institute. It's a part of Southwest Jiao Tong University, located in Chengdu. And I started with strategic programs with top universities, and later also I was deeply involved in many consulting businesses, mainly for strategy, marketing, leadership, and in Silicon Valley, more focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. And as an educator, in the past years, actually, I have a family legacy, at least 3 generations now as educators. And we find the education system has not been really developed or no big change in the past 2 centuries. It is still the pressure system, and it's more industrialized, skill-driven, teacher-centered, not student-centered. A lot of problems, and most of the students, they are forced to memorizing what they're learning, and actually they're memorizing for tests mainly, not for the practice, not for the good part of the society, or at least much less. So our solution here, I'm leading a team together to apply the flipped classroom model and applying the mastery-based learning. So we developed many programs and for students to really master at their own pace, not just being blamed for a cat cannot swim well or a fish cannot climb a tree. And later, yeah, since in recent 2 years, we have more and more programs about cultural competencies and leadership, because in Silicon Valley, even we find here is the center is called described as the capital of innovation in the world and high tech, but a lot of places, and even in this country, we noticed cultural competency is a big issue. So we launched more programs about this, and with great honor, last year we got the godmother of Silicon Valley, the legend teacher in USA, namely Esther Wojcicki. She joined my team, and she became the board member and the dean of our organization. And her book, How to Raise Successful People, was recently translated and published in 23 different languages, very popular now, even including a Chinese version for China mainland this month. Wonderful. And under her leadership and wisdom, we are trying to expand, to think more about how we are going to reshape the future, make the world a better place. In Silicon Valley, I'm echoing Radhika as well. This is the capital of innovation. People here are talking about the exponential developments. And as Kurt Carson quoted, in such an era, if you are improving incrementally, you actually fall behind. This is the power of developing exponentially. But however, these days, we felt more challenges. And I'm jumping to the question you asked about China and Asia now, but not really too much about China, although I grew up there. I'm using the pandemic as an example, trying to see how we can learn from the system that we have been applying together for signal strategy, system, and success. This is also a well-proven framework in Silicon Valley to guide innovation. And especially when things are happening exponentially, like the pandemic this year, it is horrible. And this morning, early morning, 5 a.m., my Californian time, I had the screenshot from Johns Hopkins website. And look, now globally, there are over 123 million people confirmed for coronavirus. And in USA, this country, number one, the former country leader made it US first. So US really became first. And look at other figures, and China till today, only 101,560. But think about the populations, and in South Korea as well, less than this figure. And we say, when we are looking at Asian, not just my opinion, I actually highlighted people's general descriptions about Asian, especially East Asians, disciplined, friendly, and peaceful. And how this helped, how this worked, especially in the exponential model or the pandemic era. In Asia, okay, the world population now is roughly 7.8 billion. In Asia, 4.67 billion people. China and India both have about 1.4 billion people. But think about the population and also the confirmed cases. Why? Because with disciplined people, with people who are peaceful and friendly, thinking about others, think about the collective view, then we have better figures, at least safer environment. However, every coin has two sides. Although people here in Silicon Valley, in California, contributed a lot about the environment. And look at this, I'm giving some echoes to Radhika as well about Silicon Valley. In Silicon Valley, here you can see the map. It actually has a new definition now. It's broader than before, includes Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, and also several cities in East Bay. And in this area, Silicon Valley's population is 3.1 million people. But think about the, okay, here 35% Asians, 33% white, 25% Hispanic and Latino, 5% others, and 2% Black or African Americans. And we always say Silicon Valley is very much diversified. And here we have nearly 40% people born in foreign countries. And with China contributed 18%, Mexico 16%, India 30%, and then Vietnam 10%, the Philippines 10%, other Asians 12%, and 9% other Americans, not 8% from Europe. So this is interesting combinations, and look at other figures. Under the situation, under the challenge from exponential challenges, look at, I'm using Santa Clara County as an example, and under Santa Clara County, only the city of San Jose has a big population, over millions, but all the rest have only like 60,000 people roughly. And I'm using Cupertino as an example. Cupertino is where Apple headquartered in. This city, the population is 57,820 up to now. And this is all the figures are very fresh up to this morning. So Asian 67%, 0.8%, white 26% roughly. And yeah, so we can see the majorities. And they had very little confirmed cases from the pandemic to today. So this is the contribution, and this is how people's collective personalities impact the society and contribute or damage the culture. And here I'm showing a new signal. This is actually I'm showing two new signals. Think about the framework: the signal, strategy, system, and success. The first signal I'm showing is actually quite negative. We say hate is a virus. Yeah, you guys maybe don't know much about what happened these days. In the past 1 year, here in the States, there were 3,800 anti-Asian racist incidents, and mostly against women or older people. Last week, 8 people were killed in Atlanta in gunshots. 6 were Asians, and they were ladies. These were actually horrible. So many protests happened, and so many other Asians were attacked. And on the right bottom photo, actually, unfortunately, this old man was pushed down by a white 30-year-old man, and this old man died, passed away. And this one shows old people attacked by people, by racist, really horrible. So we are calling for the answer another signal, that is love is the answer. And I, on the left, you can see myself. I was reporting as a social media, as a mini blogger, and my recording this short video right now have over 20,000 views and over 500 of comments. And I think people are looking at this. This is a signal, not the trend yet. But yeah, sorry, Michelle, I think I'm answering your next question about how to make it better. And we have the blueprint, and this is actually what Michelle and I also together with Herman and Lisa, we did many, many times with the innovation blueprint. And with the love embedded and inside, and we are looking for a united Asia, a united Europe, and also a united world. And we need to rethink the future. There are thousands of innovations happening every day, even in Silicon Valley. But what is the purpose of innovations? We should try to think about the broader things, the politics, economies, society. Yeah, not just the technology. And technology should serve the community for the good. So how to make this happen? Our Dean Esther Wojcicki always shares her wisdom, which is called a CHIC. That's the short term for trust, respect, independence, collaboration, and kindness. Last but not least, the world needs harmony, and you are the plus. Thank you very much for the time given me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill. This is very interesting. We have a few questions, and this one is for Radhika. Radhika, are you still here with us?
Yes,
I am here.
Well, some people are asking us, what are the next subject for you? What is the future research studies you will take? What place will all the work you presented take in the few years? How things are going to happen with you during the few years that are coming, and how can we follow you? I mean, the people who are looking at you right now, how could they follow your activities? Should they follow you on social media? Do you have any website we can go in? How can we follow the life of Radhika SHAH during the next few years?
Well, thank you for the kind words. And I think we all have to follow each other is what it is in this moment. As my mentor, Bill ZHAO of Ashoka would say, it is a moment for all change makers to come together. Yeah. But to your question, what is top of mind? For me, I see this at a key inflection point, to the point Bill earlier raised. This COVID crisis has shown the rising xenophobia, but also how in my world of America, I would agree with Bill that we have not been there for society. It has shown a side of the individualism, optimizing for oneself, what harm it does. The economic superpower in the world is the biggest COVID case, right? And that it has taught a lesson to us, the world, that if we do not take care of each other, none of us will survive. And I say in my Silicon Valley lingo, it's not just a moral statement, it's a business case for building bridges and being there for each other almost. We won't survive otherwise. So to me, top of mind is integrating a lot of my work, bringing technology innovation from the Stanford community at Stanford Angels, investing, as well as tackling bias, bringing these pieces, having intersectional conversations, using the Sustainable Development Goals as a framework, because they show us all these are related, tackling inequality, climate change, education, they are linked. We have to shift how we think. We have to reimagine ourselves, our societies, our world. And I am trying to bring that change in my community, in my world. I'm an advisor to the Sustainable Development Goals Philanthropy Platform, a global platform launched in 8 countries and led by WINGS, which is a consortium of 3,000 organizations around the world, reforming philanthropy. And for me, building bridges between sectors, across disciplines, across regions, with organizations like the SDG Philanthropy Platform. I love the word from Bill, local, I think local and global, bringing the power of all of these together. And like my dear friend Esther that you mentioned, Bill, so happy to hear that, bringing those kind of change leaders where we are all empowered and we find solutions from within, bringing that shift in my world of Silicon Valley. The young people, there was Anu from Basis who just left a minute ago, in terms of how to follow isn't the word, but join us. I am trying to start a movement along or co-create a movement with the young students in the university who are so much more passionate about tackling the challenges and facing the reality, to get our older community in Silicon Valley, the investors, the tech industry on board, and to recognize that it's not good enough just to build a business and make money. That in Silicon Valley, that is a motto of success. No, it's not enough. How can we help society? We have a summit on April 23rd with Basis, Stanford, several international organizations, a call to action to bring the power of global entrepreneurship technology to achieve the SDGs. Would invite all of you. I'll send Melody the link you could share with this group. But I'd love to connect and build bridges with anyone interested. But how do we bring the power of us all? And how do we shift our minds to recognize that each and every one of us has, as again Ashoka says, are a change maker. we can bring amazing change if we level the playing field and create an ecosystem where everyone is empowered and has agency. I think so many more people can be activated to bring positive change. And that is the world I am trying to do anything and everything to bring my community and my world to collaborate and my nation.